Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. I'm Caroline Baudino, your host, and you guys are savages. That is all I'm going to say. This episode, I was crazy enough to allow you to ask me questions. I don't know what I was thinking. I did not realize how deep and personal you would all get, but I guess since I say it all and I tell my entire life story all day, every day, I have no idea why I'm shocked. So God help us all. Here we go. So I asked on Instagram for everybody to ask me questions and just curious about things that you may want advice on. I don't know, something that you just wanted to ask me. And I just want to get started because there were so many sex questions and jewelry questions. I really now know where your heads are at. And I love it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, questions for Caroline. Yeah, we're going to do John later. And those questions scare me more, to be honest with you. I do not want to know what he answers. Okay, so really quick. Was an interesting question that said, let's just start with the sex one. It said, how do you keep your sex life going post-menopause, kids, you're a mom, and you're a business? Let me tell you something. I'm going to be brutally honest. Passion is something. Genuinely, you guys, I personally think that after 18 years of marriage, 20 years together, personally to me, sex now has kind of a different definition. And you're like, what are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. No, it's not like sexy porn shit that you do at the beginning where you think you're all hot shit. Like, trust me, I'm not getting on a stripper pole. Like, there is no way right now I would throw my back out. I'd probably land on my face and crack a tooth. Like, no one's getting on a stripper pole. But like maybe in my 20s, I might have thought I was like all sexy and hot and tried it. But it definitely changes. So I never want to lie about the fact that over the years, during your relationships, as you age and get older, what it means to you is very different. So to me, where sex was like passionate and crazy and so fun, and at the beginning, of course, I was obviously always so attracted to John. He really is my type, like exactly what I would find attractive. I love how smart he is, how cute he is. But if you think he doesn't fucking annoy me, we've been together 20 years, 18 years. I've got 2 kids, a 12 and a 14-year-old that can walk in the door any second. I have my 86-year-old mother living with me, her caretaker, and 2 assistants, 2 dogs, businesses, school, life, and what can I tell you? Friendships that I want to maintain. So to say that from the beginning when you're just dating and you have no responsibilities and there's nothing going on, yes, it is way more frequent. It is probably way more fun. You probably take your time, and you might actually give a shit about how the other one feels. 18 years later, for me, I actually think more it's about affection. I genuinely think affection shows more love than anything. I think anything can be a quickie, 5 minutes. You don't even need to kiss, and it could just get the job done. But for me, I really treasure affection now. So for me, as long as we're cuddling, as long as we're holding hands, as long as we're kissing in front, like I want the kids to see us being affectionate. My parents, they may have had sex every single day. Who the hell knows? I just know that they were fighting. I never saw them holding hands. I never saw them being loving. So for me right now, how do you balance it all? Post-menopause, I have to say your sex drive goes up. Ladies, I think that's what they call us. Someone told me yesterday I was a puma. They said I wasn't a cougar. They told me I was a puma. And I was like, did you fucking say puma? That is the fucking fastest cat on the planet. I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, so bottom line, you become hotter, better, you know what you want, you know what you like, you're more confident, you're more comfortable in your own body. I don't know, there is something that you have more of a voice, you're not scared to ask. You want to be pleasured just as much as the other person does, right? So I think there's something in age and with time in marriage that you do get more comfortable. And for me, I think as I matured as a woman, I started to know what I need and what I want. And for me, no, if I'm not in the mood, I'm not having sex. If blowjobs are a no-go, I'm going to say it out loud. I hope it doesn't offend anyone. But the bottom line is, I'm not interested. And then a lot of people wanted to know if I gave blowjobs wearing my jewelry. You don't need to worry about that. Not giving blowjobs, so the jewelry stays. But to balance it post-menopause, I actually think you do get more, your sex drive back. I think menopause stops the sex drive. I think you're losing so many hormones. Until you can rebalance that, the last thing, when you're having hot flashes and you're angry and you're turning into the Hulk, trust me, your husband's not coming anywhere near you. So sex definitely slows down because you're a monster, to be honest. So I think now, for me, it's a steady, balanced pace. For me, not in the morning. I don't want you anywhere near me in the morning. I don't like morning breath. I don't like people talking to me. I need my time. At night, when I tell you I'm running a business, I'm running 5 businesses. I am exhausted. I cannot see straight. I'm more of an afternoon delight. So if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I'm an afternoon delight. So it's really kind of a quickie before we pick up the kids, or, after a call, like there's time, there's quiet, my mom is out, the kids are at school. There is more of a chance there than early in the morning or at night. And I would say that I think it goes in waves, because when we're working and we're stressed, it is much harder and definitely less. So it could be once a week, twice a week. It could be once a month, you guys. I don't want you to ever think that just because you don't have sex for 2 or 3 months, life can get really hard and complicated. I do believe affection at least keeps something going. Sex is an important part of marriage. I think it's an important part of connection. I think a woman should be pleasured. After finding out yesterday that 3 of my friends' 86-year-old grandmothers all have vibrators, I have realized now that apparently it's what makes you live longer. So that's my answer. Hope that helps everyone. I mean, now that everybody knows everything I do. Okay, so I got the question, is there a class that you will teach in the future to help direct women where to begin? Yes, we are really hoping and working on to help expand, help evolve, help grow, whether it's women, whether it's brands. We are so passionate about what we do, especially John and I kind of coming together and starting to really dig deep and understand where we can apply things, how we can do things. Again, the 10,000 hour rule, we've really been doing this every single day, 24/7, 7 days a week for 7 years. I think people do think you are just fucking around and looking at photos or just taking selfies. And if people understood what goes on behind the scenes, I mean, there are tears, there is blood, there is sweat. People are up till 4 or 5 a.m. and then we're up at 7 with the kids. Like, it is brutal. I think we have so many lessons to teach, so many great practices, and starting an agency and being able to help people get back on their feet, especially women. I really understand people and how things work. So we really are hoping in the future to be able to put something like that on. So please stay tuned. Let's keep going, guys. Oh, God. I'm curious about your relationship with your sister. Yikes. Okay. So I'm going to be brutally honest here. Number one, I am always going to be super respectful of my incredible niece and nephew. I absolutely love them, respect them, and know that they're incredible human beings, and I will never disrespect their mother. Listen, as sisters, it has been very complicated. We are very, very different human beings. We think differently, we feel differently, and we remember everything differently. So unfortunately, we could be in the same house, growing up in the same household, and we have completely different memories of how things went. We never saw eye to eye. I'm 7 years younger, and for us, I wasn't like, oh, the cute little sister. I think she found me to be the really annoying, taking attention away from me sister. I'm very much about making my boys talk and communicate and apologize. I think parents are responsible for their children's relationship, and especially at the beginning. You can't control it after. But my mom always constantly said, like, oh, sisters always fight. Like, sisters hate each other. Like, oh, it's normal. She's just jealous. And I'm like, but what's she jealous of? Like, I love her. Like, what are you talking about? So I think teaching that, my sister and I just never had that bond. We weren't told, we weren't taught, and we didn't see it. My parents were very busy fighting and dealing with their own bullshit that they didn't really pay attention to us. And I think she took on this very stressed role of having to take care of me while my parents are fighting, and it's not something she wanted to do. So as you get older and you have children and you get married, I see things so differently now. I have so much grace for her. I have so much empathy. I know her upbringing and those first 7 years were much harder than mine. My parents weren't as successful as they were when I was born and I grew up. So I can only imagine that there is some jealousy there of I didn't struggle as much. We also look very different. I'm closer to my mom. She was closer to my dad. it was just one of these things that I don't know if we'll ever be super close, unfortunately. I hope one day. We spent 5 years not speaking. I personally think it was for my own mental health. I personally think boundaries are for everyone. I don't care if you're my sister. I don't care if you're my family, my employee, my boss, or my husband or my children. I really, once you know your self-worth and you have self-respect, I truly believe boundaries are the greatest flex you could possibly have, because it does protect your mental health. And I can love you, but I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. Like, I can love you and I can be there for you. And if there was an emergency, I honestly would drop anything and go help, because that is my nature. You protect your family always. But just because we're blood doesn't mean I have to put up with it. And I think that's my biggest issue with all this quieting women and shutting women up and making us feel that we have to put up with shit because it's family or because it's just the woman's role. And I'm like, why are we always the shit takers? I'm like, I have boundaries. I'm going to protect myself. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not hurting anyone. It's okay for me. It's okay for me to want to feel good too. I don't need to dim my light to make you feel comfortable in your darkness. You know what I mean? I feel like we all have to take a little accountability. I'm grateful that when my dad passed away this past January, it was the first time we have seen each other and spoken in 5 years. I have been caring for my parents for the last all of COVID. I took on the responsibility. My mom has moved in with me and lives with me. I take care of her. It is hard. I wish there was a better situation. I wish we could share the difficulty of this. But at the end of the day, I am grateful, and I go to sleep at night with a very clear conscience. And I know I'm doing the right thing always, and I always will. And I wish her well. I wish her all the luck in the world. I hope she's happy. And if she needed me, I'm there. But I don't think that speaking the day-to-day works for us. You know what I mean? I just don't think we can be best friends. I just don't think we have that. But we can show each other respect. And that's good enough for me. So that's the situation with my sister. We are at least texting and communicating. So I think that's a first step. And as long as we're respectful, I'm okay with that. So that's that story. Ooh, you guys, who does the laundry? John. You guys, John is better at the housework. He'll tell you about it. He's like a neat freak and like doesn't mind being busy and doing busy work. It's funny, he grew up having to do all of that. I didn't. And it's unfortunate because my parents didn't instill that in me. I actually really started taking care of myself and doing all of that when I went to college. And I think it's incredible that he knows how to do everything and it doesn't bother him. But he pretty much does the laundry, or we do have help once a week that does come clean the house and do laundry, to be brutally honest. Okay, guys. There was a good one over here. I wanted to read this. Okay. Thoughts on therapy. Have you done it? You guys, I actually think therapy is an incredible tool. My mom used to think, and this is not to throw her under the bus, literally she used to say therapy was for crazy people, right? Like that's how we made it seem like, that it was for crazy people. Therapy is the greatest gift you can give yourself, personally. Like to be able to have somebody to bounce ideas off, to be able to be open with, to be able to talk to, and to be able to be yourself. Because sometimes with family, again, when you're setting boundaries, everybody gets really angry. And when you're setting boundaries or you're telling people things that they don't want to hear because they're so used to using you and taking advantage of you, they're going to get pissed and they're going to get annoyed and they're going to give you a hard time, and they actually might convince you you're wrong. Like they may actually put all this negative shit in your head that you actually second guess yourself. That's why boundaries is something that you have to like stick to no matter what, because once you give in once, they will keep taking advantage. So for me, I think therapy is an incredible thing to ensure that you're having clear thoughts and you're understanding who you are and what your needs are and how you feel. So for therapy, I actually studied psychology at George Washington University. That is what I graduated in, and I got accepted to NYU for my master's in psychology. I wanted to study multiple personalities. I was very fascinated by the human brain and what it does to help survive traumatic situations. So that is something that I studied and I was fascinated by. I was considering being a therapist. So that is what I studied. I personally went to therapy. I am not in therapy now. I'm not opposed to it in any way. I feel like I've been very fortunate in the last 7 years. My coffee talks have been my therapy. I have been able to kind of say it all, basically to myself. I think I've been kind of, when you're looking into your camera and you're looking into a mirror, you are really talking to yourself. And I think I was really working things out with myself. You know what I mean? It was like this self-talk, self-therapy. And it helped me so much to talk things out and have to face myself. That's why I always think looking in the mirror is so important, because a lot of us avoid the mirror because we don't like what we see and we don't want to have to face it and do the work. There is some incredible therapy that can be done when you're honest with yourself. But I did go to therapy before I met John. I was really opposed to marriage. I was really opposed to having kids because my parents were so unhappy. That's something that I was like very determined to be super independent. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to make movies and be off on set and just not ever have to depend on anyone. And, as you're here in LA and you realize how hard work is and friendships are, and then I met John and he was this incredible guy, but I was so scared to get married. All my friends were going to this therapist, and Donna, we love you. You guys, we had 10 of us, I think, all going to Donna, to the point that every single meal, dinner, girls' night, coffee, lunch, or drinks, we'd all argue about, well, Donna said. We'd all be like, well, no, but Donna said, and then you hear another one, well, Donna told me. And we were like, Donna knows all our shit. We were just kind of like, Donna must think we're all fucking insane because she's heard all our shit. But anyway, she is somebody that really got me to a place to realize I have to stop blaming everybody else. There was a point that I actually said to her, John is open to coming in as a couple therapy. I was having a hard time settling down. You guys, John was more serious about getting married than I was. I really was like, do we really want to do this? I don't know. I was kind of like, I kind of just want to live my life. He was like, what the hell does that mean? I was like, I don't know. I just want to be free. And he was like, no one's free. Okay, nobody's free. You got to get your shit together. So he was like, I'm going to come to Donna with you. So I was like, Donna, John's willing to come to therapy. She goes, can I be brutally honest with you? I'm like, when aren't you? That's what's good about therapy. They're brutally honest with you. I was like, what? He's like, John's not the problem, you are. I was like, what? I'm like, are therapists allowed to say that? I was like, yeah, she hasn't even met him. And she was like, sweetie, I've been with you for a year. I can tell you that John's perfectly fine. You're the issue. I was like, holy shit. Right. So from there on, I stopped giving John so much shit and I started taking accountability. And I started looking at myself and I started realizing that John isn't my dad and that I'm not my mom. And that it doesn't have to be that way. And how do you break generational vicious cycles? How do you break that pattern? My sister fell into it, fell trap. I was like, I will never go down in flames like this. I was determined. I was like, I would rather be alone than in a bad marriage. So for me, I started to realize I'm just holding on to all this anger. I'm holding on to all this bullshit. That John isn't that. He's never shown that to me. And actually, it really allowed me to see him in a different light. It really allowed me to see commitment in a different light. And thank God, because we are married now 18 years. So we have 2 incredible boys that, thank God, I feel very blessed every day that we show them what love is. We show what hard is. That's for sure. We do show what fighting is, what hard is, but we also show what getting out of the hard is and how we work through it. And I think John and I are very therapeutic that way because we communicate so much. And that's why I think therapy is so good, because I think it's communication. And if you don't get it out, it eats away at you like a cancer. It just does. It just eats away at you. It tears you apart. So if you need someone to talk to and you don't have someone to talk to, first of all, you always can talk to yourself in the mirror. Never be afraid to talk to yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself and take a hard look and really tell yourself how you feel. And please get help if you need it. There is no shame whatsoever in asking for help. Life is really hard. Relationships is hard. Work is hard. And just trying to find your happy every single day is hard. So never be ashamed to get help. Help is out there. And I think therapy is incredible. All right, guys, I'm moving on. Guess what? I'm moving on. Oh, God. You guys. Oh, I'm going to cry. What's the best advice for raising tween boys? Okay, there's some good ones. Okay, best advice for raising tween boys. I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. They just turned 12 and 14. And let me tell you something. Things have changed. moms of younger ones, if you're not in middle school yet, if you're in middle school, you know. If you're in high school, God bless you. If you're in elementary school, get fucking ready, okay? Never even thought this shit was going down, okay? I don't remember being in middle school and walking in on a threesome. I really don't. I don't remember, you guys. I don't remember anyone having a threesome in the fucking gym. You guys, our friend's 6th grader walked in on a threesome of 2 7th graders and an 8th grader. I'm sorry, what? I was like, wait a second. I'm like, what school is that? I was like, wait, what? Apparently there's text messages texting people to meet in the parking lot of the school for blowjobs. Guys, things have got, this is 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm not talking about 10th, 11th, 12th. I'm not talking about college. I'm talking about 11, 12, 13. I literally almost had a nervous breakdown because I have 2 boys, but I'm kind of the girl. I'm a few of my friends, girl 2 mom. Ladies, if you're out there, please, the greatest thing you could ever do, make sure your kids have a trusted friend they can go to. I am that mom that people go to, that I'm best friends with the mom. They trust me. They know that I have it's all my best intentions always, and that I will protect them. But you've got to have somebody that your kids can call that they won't get in trouble. I really think it's important to have an adult that can help, because most kids don't ask for help or they're too scared of their parents. So there's got to be a cool one. You have to have a cool aunt, cool friend, someone that you can at least know they're going to fucking help them no matter what. So I am that person to 2 or 3 friends. And I love you guys. I kind of regret it because I am horrified. I was sitting there like it was literally texting, I want proof of life pictures. That's how hardcore I am. I'm worse than 360. I'm like, I want the 360 live, Life 360, right? Yeah. And I was like, forget Life 360. I want photos in live. I want proof of life. I want to know where you are. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, why do I see boys' shoes? I'm like, okay, everyone stop. So this is one of those things where you're like, you're raising tween boys. This is terrifying, you guys, because between social media, and I'm not going to poo-poo social media because I'm obviously on it and it has given me an incredible privilege, right? I get to be here talking to you because of it. But I didn't grow up with it, right? I wasn't being harassed on it. I wasn't being bullied on it. We were just getting prank calls on our phone, right? But it's very different now. You're feeling left out. You're feeling less than. You're having kids commit suicide. You're watching, I can tell you about 5 suicides that happened in our schools this year in high school at top schools. So what is happening with our tweens, right? And it's about, I think parents have forgotten to parent. I think discipline has gone out of the window. And I know not everyone's going to want to fucking hear this, but I'm going to say it because I am all about respect. I am all about discipline. And I want to remind everyone that you're the parent. You're not the friend. You're not the child. You are the parent, and you are there to teach them, and it's okay to say no. And when you realize that when the kids start running the household, that's when shit starts happening. And for me, my most important thing to the boys is always to please show respect, to please show kindness, because we are living in a world that it's one word against the other. That's it. There is no proof. People will literally make something up. If a girl says all of a sudden she really likes you and maybe you blow her off, she can literally say she was alone with you, something happened, and blame you and destroy your life. And that is absolutely terrifying, raising boys. I can't imagine what it is to raise girls. I'm seeing what's going on. Everything is moving too fast. Unfortunately, social media is making everything move too fast. I think pornography is making everything a fucking disaster. And kids have no clue. And then all these families are unhappy at home. You're seeing all the moms always drunk and exhausted and making fun of how much they hate their lives. Husbands who are cheating and miserable. What are these kids watching? What are they learning from? And for me, I'm like, if we're not setting the example, who is setting the example? Then they're going to go learn from kids at school, right? They're going to go learn from where they feel comfortable. So for me, I always want my home to be the safe zone. I want my home to be the place where they know they can come to me, they can call me, they can tell me anything. I want to know that I care more about how they treat people and how they make people feel than their grades. I don't give a flying fuck about the grades if they're not nice people. I believe in discipline. I believe in them being a little bit scared of you. To be honest with you, I am perfectly fine them fearing me. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to make sure that nothing happens to you. And it's getting harder having teens. I have to tell you, the 14-year-old Sawyer, it's getting harder because, they are getting a little more attitude. They are talking back a little more. They are starting to feel their, independence and their power. And they are starting to push more buttons. And for me, I constantly have conversations with them, and I really do say brutally honest things. I know people don't like to scare their kids. I like to scare my kids. I will literally be like, you'll be kidnapped in 7 seconds. I was like, if you go outside, you're not paying attention, someone could literally grab you, throw you in the car. So I was like, I am constantly saying, like, anything is possible. You are not special. I am not somebody who blows smoke up my kids' asses. There are games that I have said to Sawyer, you could have done better. Or he was really upset. I'm like, I don't know I have no idea why. I get you're upset. I get you're pissed, but you're going to have to let it go because I didn't see you practicing. So don't tell me you're so pissed when you actually didn't make any effort for the game. So when you kill yourself making the effort and then you don't play well, then we can talk about it. But if you're not going to make any effort and then you're going to be upset, no go. Because life is so hard, and I think we've created helicopter parenting. We've created letting our kids get away with murder. We've allowed kids to be able to do whatever they fuck they want, whenever they want. Parents are doing kids' homework. Parents are doing the kids' projects. Parents are doing, literally, I've seen kids drop shit on the floor. Not joking. They open a piece of gum and drop the wrapper on the floor. So we have lost our minds. So when you're telling me, how do I raise tween boys? I'm strict. I'm confident. I demand respect. I am very kind, I am very loving, and I am very affectionate, but I want to know that they know how to take care of themselves. I want them to be independent, and I also want them to know how to take care of a woman and how to share in the household responsibilities, so that I want them to have a wife they're supporting just as much as they're watching their father support me. So those are my tips. Stay the parent. Okay. How to make friends in midlife. You guys, everyone asks me all the time because, as you guys know, I've made a lot of amazing friends later in life. I'm 52, and I've met some of my absolute best friends in my 50s and through Instagram, which is insane, like through social media or through work. And sometimes they say you hold on to the ones that remind you of your great history, and then you find your friends that fit your future. And I think you have those. Like, I have my best friend sitting right here that I've known since I'm 12, who is working with me and is the greatest gift. But I also have met some of the most incredible women that keep me motivated. They keep me inspired to keep wanting to keep upping that game and to keep moving forward. And we just relate more now. We laugh more now. Like, it's the people who know you, I think, forever that get you. And then I think it's the new ones that you just click with. I think there's a certain time that, yes, you're kind of forcing friendships because of your kids. And it's not to say you don't like it, right? It's not to say you don't like them, but it isn't necessarily that perfect, mix, or that person that you're going to go on vacation with, or that person, like when I met Monica and 2 weeks later we were in Cabo. So it's like, there are people you meet that you just click with and you're like, we're going to be friends for life. And right now, I think to be able to do that, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You do have to reach out. I think everyone's so shy. Everyone's so nervous to be rejected. Everyone's so scared to put themselves out there. And how sad that we feel so insecure, that we feel so ashamed of ourselves, that we feel like we're going to get rejected just by reaching out. Like, for me, I'm kind of like, make the effort. Monica literally asked me out on a double date. Monica fucking Blunder asked me on a double date. I was like, what? And it was literally, we've been on 5 vacations since then. I can't imagine my life without her, legitimately. Then I met Nina. Then when I say I have some of my closest best, then I started working with brands, and guess what? Fell dead in love with the brand owners. Like, true friends now. Like, when people are like, are you selling it or are you friends? I'm like, no, we're fucking friends. That's the problem. Like, I'm supporting all women, and they're all incredible women. So you're like, you become friends with all of them. Like, it's a shit show. Like, you don't even know what to do, because you're like, how many more incredible women are there? And I think there's hundreds more. So I always want to say it's out there. And I think you have to change your circle. You have to change your table. You have to change the room. You have to change the activity. You got to change your mindset. You got to change your perspective. And you got to take a chance on you. And sometimes you got to put your big curl panties on And you got to say, if you want different, you got to do different. And so I would really start taking classes in things that you just loved. You know what I mean? Go train for a marathon. You know what I mean? Go take that photography class you always loved. Remember things you used to love. Go back to it. Go back to tennis lessons. Go back to golf. Like, go learn something. Go read go join a book club. Go do things that you genuinely love to do so that you actually meet like-minded women. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you want to be around people that like to do what you're doing. And then you connect, and then you start talking, and then you meet some of their friends. And the next thing you know, you have this incredible new community of women that suit your future, right? And then you hold on to the really good ones who have always wanted to see you win because you know exactly who they are, right? So that's my advice. Okay, that's how you make friends in midlife. Oh, God. Oh, God, there's a cheating one. Holy hell. Oh, someone said, how did you get so fabulous? I love you. Whoever you are, I love you. Okay, can a man cheat and genuinely be remorseful and change? Oh, wait, that's for me and John. Okay, I'm going to leave that for me and John, but you know what? I got to answer it. Damn it, I have to answer it. Sorry, Al. I got to do it. Because, you know what? Cheating is this is a hot topic for me. Guys, sorry, it's a hot topic. Because my dad, obviously, we know he had fidelity issues. He was like what is it called? Not a barkaholic. He was like a cheataholic. Is that what it's called? Cheataholic? I don't know. But I'm telling you, and I hate to say this because he's passed away, and I would never, this is really not to throw him under the bus. I think they were really unhappy. My mom is really tough. I'd be lying if I said she wasn't tough. I think they both, she got pregnant. They had to get married or did get married, and I don't think they were the perfect match. You know what I mean? If we're going to be honest. And I think they tried their best, and I think it must have been really hard for both of them. Now being 52, knowing how hard marriage is, knowing how hard kids are, knowing how hard it is to run businesses and a home, and it is. Like, I can understand how probably so stressed they both were. But cheating is something to me that is just such an excuse. Like, for me, it's just all on you, and all it does is make the other person feel that it's their fault. Like, it's so selfish. And I think that's what bothers me about it, because with my dad, I'm like, how he affected the entire household. It wasn't just him. Like, yeah, he gets off for 5 minutes, and then it's years of pain for all of us. And I think he didn't understand the trickle effect of that. And then you can forgive, of course. I think absolutely people get second chances. I do believe that people can change, or else we're all fucked in this world, right? Like, we gotta hope. We have to pray that people can change. So you gotta hope that. But I think you have to be smart. I think you have to be okay moving on. I don't think it's something that you can keep holding on to and throwing it back in someone's face. I think what my mom did was forgive and then never fucking forget. And then has been bringing it up till this day. 86, he's not alive, and she just cursed him out the other day about it. So it is something that's just lived with her. So I think it's like, if you really can forgive and you can really move on and you can trust him, because I think at the end of the day is, can you trust him? And I think for me is, if I'm sitting by the phone and I'm checking his shit and I'm looking through his shit and I'm wondering, or I feel insecure in any way, that I wouldn't be living my authentic life, and I wouldn't be living happily, because I'm not your guardian. I'm not your bodyguard. So if I have to be spending my happy time worrying about you, that wouldn't make me feel good. So I think it would really depend on the person, the situation, and how does it actually make you feel? How does he make you feel? And I think you'll know the answer. But we'll ask John separately. Anyway. Okay, you make my day every day. Oh my God, I love you. Thank you. I am so glad I found you on here. How did you get started doing this? Okay, well, you guys all know I'll do a quickie, just a quickie. Really quick, obviously, I really started because I was at home, stay-at-home mom. I was feeling extremely overwhelmed, extremely exhausted, and not unfulfilled from my children. I want to be really clear about that. It was not about the boys. I didn't like not having something of my own. I didn't like having some distraction every day that made me feel capable and smart and like I could take care of myself. Like, the more and more I got deeper and deeper, the more and more I felt dependent on John. And that did not make me happy. So I think for me, it got started obviously when my mom called me and was hysterical and told me my dad had Alzheimer's and that I had to take care of everything and that she didn't know where anything was. It was I was obviously a zombie after that phone call. And it made me realize I was walking in her footsteps. I was getting deeper in with the boys. And I honestly didn't know. I was starting to depend on John more and more. And all of a sudden my job was gone. All of a sudden my money was gone. All of a sudden I was asking for permission and I was like, whoa, what's happening here? So I really was, oh, fuck no, I have to make my own money. So when people were kind of like, what do you love? What do you do? And it's always about finding something that you already do. It's about finding something that you genuinely love to do. I really do. I think people say it all the time. Every huge successful entrepreneur says, when you find something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And I have to be honest with you, like if you're going to work every day dreading it, yeah, that's not living. But when you wake up and you feel excited or you feel content or you feel like, oh, I have a new idea, or you're excited to at least work hard, that's when you have found something. And for me, obviously fashion, the jewelry, the makeup, it started there because that's just what I typically do, right? That's just something I do all the time. I always got up, I always got dressed. So I really started there. I started with the basics. What do I like to do? I like to exercise. I like to move. I like having some gratitude, finding my peace within myself and my own head. Then I love getting up and getting dressed. I was like, looking good always makes me feel good. That's the truth. When I look fabulous, I just feel fabulous. It's true. Like I feel more confident. I feel more badass. I feel like I'm ready for anything. I'm like, yeah, let me bump into my ex-boyfriend. Bring it on. Like when you don't, you are a shell of yourself. When you don't, you will talk negatively to yourself. You will hide out. You will hide from that person in the grocery store, right? So all of that to me was like, how do I put this all together? I was like, I'm going to just get up and get dressed every day. And I was like, I'm just going to link. Everyone was asking me for the tags. Everyone was asking me for the links. So it kind of just started with something I was doing anyway. I was getting up and getting dressed anyway, and it just flowed from there. And then the talking, I think it's just my psych background and COVID happening and me just, I think, digging deep and all of a sudden having nowhere to talk, no one to talk to. And nobody was out. You couldn't see your friends. You couldn't do anything. And I really just started talking to the phone. I was like feeling all the feels with my parents struggling so badly. The world seemed like it was coming to an end. And I was like, how do I find my happy in the hard? How do I keep myself sane so I can show up for my kids? How do I survive trying to find some happy every day in this not normal situation? I was like, I can either just completely give up and just give up on myself, or I can try to maintain some normalcy, try to keep a routine, try to stay consistent, and try to take care of myself and look good. So like when this fucking gets resolved somehow, I don't look like a zombie apocalypse. I kind of wanted to come out being like, damn, I still look good. You know what I mean? Everybody else looked like a zombie. I mean, let's be honest. People fucking gave up. People like let go. Everyone thought the world was over. And I was like, guys, we're going to assume we're going to figure it out. And then what? And then you're going to be like, oh, fuck, now I'm back. Like, now what do I do? And I'm like, yeah, I was doing it the whole time. So it's always about finding your happy in the hard, no matter what. So start doing things you love. Start thinking about things you love. Start thinking back to things that you loved, right? Because we're bringing back the best version of you. And what is that? What was that version of you? What did she do? What did she look like? Start there, right? Okay. We're going to do maybe one or two more questions, guys. Where did you grow up? I was born and raised in New York City. Did your parents speak Cuban Spanish all the time? Did they speak Spanish all the time when you were growing up? Yes, my house was completely fluent in Spanish. Yo hablo español, puedo hablar contigo en español, y somos cubanos. Mis padres hablaron en español, but I studied English also. So yes, I speak fluently Spanish and English, and I feel very grateful for that now. How did you lose the weight after 50? I know that's a big one. Let me give you a quick answer because I think everybody just wants a quick fix. There is no quick fix. There is a quick fix. And if you want to do the quick fix, I have no judgment here whatsoever. I have nothing to say about it because for me, I stay in my lane and I think everyone needs to do whatever it is that's safe and comfortable for them. Again, no judgment. I do believe medications that you're on affect you. And I think a lot of people go on anti-anxiety, anti-depression, and I think people forget that does cause weight gain. I think people forget that perimenopause starts 10 years before your 50s. So hi, 40-year-olds. Yeah, you start gaining weight. Just so you know, menopause is absolutely brutal. And I'm going to do I did an entire podcast on it because it's insanity. And so I think for me, I'm post-menopause now. And I think also as you're a mom and your kids are growing up, I think there is so much stress. There is so much exhaustion. It is hard to take time for yourself. You feel guilty all the time, just even working out or taking 5 minutes for yourself, that I think you just kind of get lost. And I think it's easy to gain a little weight. And like between perimenopause, getting a little weight, exhaustion, the kids, age, everything, I just want you to know you will get it back. It takes hard work. It is not easy. Again, yes, you can go the easy route and good for you. That makes you comfortable and happy. But just know, check your medications, movement every day consistently. This isn't just like one day and then take 2 weeks off. I'm talking about 30 minutes every day. Literally just move your body for 30 minutes every day. Be consistent. Literally slow and steady gets to the end of the same goddamn race. There is no race. We're not racing to the end. We're trying to slow down the end. So stop racing to the end, slow and steady, start small, and literally like just, to me, intermittent fasting was huge. I think not eating late at night, cutting yourself off at 7, 8 o'clock. I don't eat anything until about noon. I have my coffee in the morning, I get my movement in, and then I break fast at lunchtime with like a salad or a protein. Dinner, again, protein and some sort of vegetable, and then like a fruit or a veggie dessert, and sometimes dessert, and you have to like treat yourself. But again, eating clean, moving your body, checking medications, I think all of those things consistently really do work. And when you're post-menopause, your body does start to go back. So just know it's just a time in life that's really difficult, but you will get through it. I'm on the other side, so I can promise you, you will. Okay, I don't know how much time we have, but I'm going to just look really quick. Okay, so I grew up in New York City, and what brought me to LA was I was acting in Spanish soap operas, and I got signed by an agent here in LA, and I took the chance, and I moved out here completely alone, didn't know one single person, and it was the scariest shit ever, but it was also the best decision I ever made. The jewelry, I think we know, I sleep with it, eat with it, shower with it, don't give blowjobs with it, have sex with it, yes, play tennis with it, everything with it, I pee with it. There's nothing I don't do with it. This is how I woke up. Okay? I want you to see it all. Okay? That's me. This is me all the time. How do you deal with anxiety? Okay, really quick. Anxiety, I do take Lexapro, just to be transparent and honest. I take the lowest dose, but I do take some because dealing with my dad's death, dealing with my mom getting sick, dealing with taking care of her, I will say it takes a toll. Plus, menopause gives you horrible anxiety. It is a doozy when you're in the sandwich years and you're dealing with menopause and parents and small children and your husband and him losing his job. It's a lot. So I did take something, and I also go outside, face in the sun. Sun therapy is incredible. Take the time. I promise you every day to go outside and put your face in the sun. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes if you can. And just have a little gratitude. It really changes your perspective. It just gives you energy. Bare feet in the ground. I'm telling you, like, barefoot on the ground is incredible for grounding. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. It really does ground you. Little things, cold showers will help anxiety. Cold right behind your neck and your wrists help anxiety. So just little tips. Once you know you have anxiety, you start knowing when it's coming on. And then once you know what helps you, you can start figuring those things out. And taurine is also a great supplement for anxiety. Okay. So just before being Caroline, I used to host TV shows. I was on a Spanish soap opera. I was on American soap opera. I did commercials. And then I hosted entertainment shows, Spanish entertainment shows. So I used to interview celebrities on the red carpet. I did junkets. I had my own show at Universal Studios. And basically it was all entertainment, kind of like a Mario Lopez, Access Hollywood, but it was in Spanish, and I was the host in Spanish. So I do come from TV, so I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, and I have a psychology background. So kind of all makes sense now, doesn't it? And then I'm Mr. T just for the hell of it. Okay, last one. This is going to be good. Dating tips. Okay, let's end with happy. Oh, and maybe a vacation one really quick. Jackson's going to kill me. So hold on. Dating, Jackson. He loves me. He loves me. Okay, so dating tips really quick. So I think this is important. I'm 52. Do not take advice from anyone under 50 and anyone who hasn't been fucking married. Okay, we're not taking dating tips from people who have not held on to a serious relationship. Okay, I've been married 18 years, together 20. For me, again, doing the exact same thing over and over will not get you a different result. You have to figure out who you are. What do you like? What do you like to do? Start doing those things. Start going to those places. Not the stupid club bar that everyone else is going to. Don't do whatever your friend is doing. If, like, do you really want to be in that situation? Do you like how that guy treats her? Is that really what you want? Or do you really, I know that's what everybody else is doing. I get it. I know that's what looks good. And I know that's probably what looks cool on Instagram. But does it actually make you happy? I remember going to all the Hollywood parties and I always felt so uncomfortable. Like it just didn't feel me. And then you're like, I'm like barbecue on the beach with friends and a beer. And like, that's where I feel comfortable. And like, I end up now, my best friends are all just drinking beers at the beach. Like I'm not at the Hollywood parties. So unless it's for work and I enjoy it because now I'm surrounded by incredible women. But before I was insecure, it was all the acting stuff and it just didn't work. So for me, dating tips is start doing different things. I met John by training for a marathon. So I actually like got out of my comfort zone, went to do something different, went to do something good. And through there, I met a running partner and it ended up being her friend from business school. So it's like getting yourself into other situations. Start taking the photography class, start going to different places, different restaurants, start trying to meet people the kind of life that you want, right? And make sure that he actually wants to get married. If he's not calling, he doesn't want to call you. If he's not showing up and making an effort for you, he's not interested. So know that anybody who wants to date you and is actually serious about you will make the effort and there'll be no game playing and you're going to feel perfectly calm because it's exciting, but it isn't scary. You know what I mean? It's like it feels good. It's supposed to feel good. Okay, last one, family vacation with and without children. Okay, favorite vacation ever was our honeymoon to Africa. It was the best trip of our lives. We went for 17 days. We did all of Tanzania. John and I are huge travelers. We are huge adventure seekers. We jump out of planes, swim with sharks. We're lunatics. So Africa, we had to do because we weren't sure when we would be able to do it again. It was the most incredible experience. We sat in the middle with all the wildebeest crossing. We did Zanzibar, we did Stone Town, we did the Ngorongoro crater. It was absolutely spectacular and we cannot wait to take our kids back there. With children, the best vacation is Costa Rica. We have gone, I think, 7 or 8 years in a row. We go to Capos. It is a small surf town. There is no fast food. It is all local. The resort is called Tulamar. You can rent homes or they have tiny treetop bungalows. We started with treetop bungalows because we couldn't afford it. And now we get to rent some of the homes because now we bring friends and everyone is obsessed with this place. It is at Costa Rica, greatest people, greatest food, greatest animals. You see animals everywhere and the kids absolutely loved it. So that's it. You guys, they're telling me to shut up. So I'm going to have to come back and do another one of these because there's 400 more questions. Okay, so I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to write these and to follow and to care and to just engage and support. It means so much. I so appreciate you all. And we're going to be coming in super fucking hot next week. So stay tuned to next Monday. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, follow, all the things, all the positive things. I love you guys. Have an incredible week. Take care. I love you. Mwah.